The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
This is the reading of the Holy Gospel according to John. There was a certain man named Lazarus who was sick. He was from Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. And they sent word to Jesus to inform him, "Lord, the one you love is sick." But upon hearing this, Jesus said, "This sickness is not to end in death. Rather, it is for God's glory, that through it the Son of God may be glorified." Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus very much. Yet, after hearing Lazarus was sick, he stayed on where he was for 2 days more. Finally, he said to his disciples, "Let us go back to Judea." They protested, "Rabbi, with the Jews only recently trying to stone you, you are going back there again?" Jesus answered, "Are there not 12 hours of daylight? If a man goes walking by day, he does not stumble because he sees the world bathed in light. But if he goes walking at night, he will stumble, since there is no light in him." After uttering these words, he added, "Our beloved Lazarus has fallen asleep. I am going there to wake him." At this, the disciples objected, "Lord, if he's asleep, his life will be saved." Jesus had been speaking about his death, but they thought he meant sleep in the sense of slumber. So finally, Jesus said plainly, "Lazarus is dead. For your sakes, I am glad I was not there, that you may come to believe. In any event, let us go to him." Then Thomas said to his fellow disciples, "Let us go along to die with Jesus." When Jesus arrived at Bethany, he found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb 4 days. The village was not far from Jerusalem, just under 2 miles. And many Jewish people came out to console Martha and Mary over their brother. And when Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went to meet him, while Mary sat at home. And Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would never have died. Even now I am sure that God will give you whatever you ask of God." Jesus assured her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha replied, "Well, I know he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day." Jesus told her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, even though he should die, will come to life. And whoever is alive and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this?" She replied, "Yes, Lord. I have come to believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, he who is to come into the world." When she said this, she went back and called her sister Mary. "The teacher is here, asking for you," she whispered. As soon as Mary heard this, she got up and started out in Jesus' direction. And the Jews who were in the house with Mary, consoling her, saw her get up and quickly go out. So they followed her, thinking she was going to the tomb to weep. When Mary came to the place where Jesus was, seeing him, she fell at his feet and said to him, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would never have died." When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who accompanied her weeping, he was troubled in spirit, moved by deepest emotions. He asked, "Where have you laid him?" They said, "Lord, come and see." Jesus began to weep, which caused the Jews to remark, "See how much he loved him." But others said, "He opened the eyes of the blind. Why could he have not done something to stop Lazarus from dying?" Once again, troubled in spirit, Jesus approached the tomb. It was a cave with a stone laid across it. "Take away the stone," Jesus directed. Martha said to him, Lord, it's been 4 days. Surely there will be a stench. Jesus replied, did I not assure you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God? They then took away the stone. Jesus looked upward and said, Father, I thank you for having heard me. I know that you always hear me, but I say this for the sake of those here, that they may believe that you sent me. Having said this, he called loudly, Lazarus, come out. And the dead man came out, bound hand and foot with linen strips, his face wrapped in cloth. Untie him, Jesus told him, and set him free. This caused many Jews who had come to visit Mary and Martha, had seen what Jesus did. They put their faith in Jesus. Gospel of the Lord.
Praise the Lord Jesus Christ.
If my memory serves me correct, this may be the only story in the gospel which says Jesus loved these 3 people very much. So that cannot be insignificant to the story. Jesus loved Lazarus and Martha and Mary very much. And yet, in their time of need, when they asked for him, he did not come. And Lazarus, who was sick, which Jesus could have easily cured, died. And Martha and Mary felt abandoned by the one who loved them very much. And they were angry. And so when he finally showed up, their first words to him were, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would never have died. This is heavy stuff. Appropriately so. Very appropriate to our Lent. Very appropriate to our preparation for Holy Week. Very appropriate to our celebrating Good Friday and Easter Sunday. It is heavy stuff. The Lord loves each and every one of us very much. More than we know. More than we'll ever know in this lifetime. Amen? The Lord loves each and every one of us very much. More than we'll ever know in this lifetime. And yet, we call out to him in our moments of need. And sometimes it feels like he's right there with us, answering our prayers. And other times, it feels like he is not there with us, answering our prayers, giving us what we need, not just for ourselves, but for those whom we love. Like Mary and Martha needed Jesus for their brother, Lazarus. And he was not there. And Jesus received and took their feelings. did not contradict that at all. Did not give any excuse at all. He took every bit of that and accepted them and loved them just as they were. They could say that to Jesus, and it was okay to say that to him. And then he did not apologize. He did not say, "I'm sorry." He said, "You must believe. You must make an act of faith right here, right now, on the spot. If you are to see the glory of God, if you are to see your brother, if your brother is to rise from the dead, from that tomb, you have to believe." How important must this be to our being disciples? How important this must be to our being disciples. That at the most difficult moments in our lifetime, we must make acts of faith that go contrary to all reason, go contrary to all proof. We must make acts of faith in God. And not just for ourselves, but for those whom we love. We must entrust those whom we love the most in life. We must entrust them to God, believing that God will make happen what we cannot, and it will last, and death will not overcome it. No matter if death is still here, it will not overcome what God does. But we must believe that. This is heavy stuff. This is what Lent's about. This is what Holy Week is about. This is what Good Friday and Easter Sunday are about. It's about our acts of faith in God at the most difficult moments in our entire life. About those who are nearest and dearest to us for our whole life.